Florida finds itself in the eye of the storm for many of its residents who are seriously considering packing their bags. So, what is the cause of this? If Florida is so beautiful, why do so many people want to flee? In this video, we will explore the reasons behind both newcomers and Florida natives who are already contemplating a change of scenery. If you're a resident of Florida, you're likely to agree that these are the 6 main reasons that drive the consideration of leaving the state. The 4th reason will leave you stunned. This situation is a constant in every corner of Florida, the Sunshine State. One of the most irritating aspects of life here, and one of the primary reasons why residents leave Florida to settle in destinations like South Carolina and Georgia, is tourism. Being a resident during the tourist season is a real ordeal. Locals must contend with hordes of visitors while trying to lead an everyday life. In fact, it's an unwritten rule that if you reside in a tourist area, somehow the tourists are covering your expenses. In general, around 50% of the city's population is sustained, directly or indirectly, by tourism. Floridians have been expressing their dissatisfaction with this for a long time. Florida is a magnet for tourism, with its beautiful beaches, Disney, SeaWorld, Universal in Orlando, and Key West. All of this can turn into a nightmare during the peak season. In 2022, the situation reached record levels in terms of tourism. Now, in 2023, the fever has decreased a bit, which was expected. Still, the numbers are higher than those recorded before the pandemic. To put it in concrete terms, you only need to look at the cruise industry, which is booming again. Florida has around 3 or 4, maybe even 5 cruise ports, and Miami leads the pack as one of the most active in the world. It's somewhat ironic that something that generates so much money for the state is causing many people to leave or at least consider moving to other places to live. But if this reason has surprised you, wait until you hear the next one. In the sunny state of Florida, car insurance costs have seen a staggering rise. Just 4 years ago, they were in a modest 8th position on the list of the most expensive states in this regard. However, in the blink of an eye, they have climbed to the 6th spot. What's even more concerning is that this rapid increase doesn't seem to have any intention of slowing down, as they've recently reached the 12th position nationwide. The situation becomes even more critical, given that various insurance companies are leaving the state of Florida as if it were a race to the exit. Farmacia's Insurance has packed its bags, Bankers Insurance has followed the same path, and Lexington Insurance is practically alone. This leads us to the alarming conclusion that insurance costs are likely to soar in the coming months and years. To make matters worse, getting a new insurance policy has become an almost impossible task, as reported by USA Today. Another 15 companies have also ceased to offer policies in this state. Consequently, it doesn't take a genius to realize that in no time, insurance in Florida will be priced through the roof. Florida is firmly on the path to claiming the unenviable title of the state with the most expensive insurance in the country. But this isn't even the main reason why residents are packing their bags. Florida, a place that at first glance may exude serenity, holds its secrets in the depths of its crime statistics, despite statements that try to convince you that it is at its safest point in the last 5 decades. The truth lies in the manipulation of numbers, a subtle game that has been skillfully deployed. Allow me to share a revealing story. In 2021, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement orchestrated a shift in its approach to recording crimes. Until that point, they adhered to a system that only recorded the most serious crime in an incident, a strategy that distorted the perception of reality. However, the landscape underwent a transformation with the introduction of the new FBI standard, known as the National Incident-Based Reporting System. This broader innovation allowed for the consolidation of multiple crimes into a single incident. The irony lies in the fact that not all Florida agencies adopted the new system in 2021. In fact, some didn't even provide their information on time, inevitably excluding them from the report. This bureaucratic disarray has, of course, contributed to the representation of crime rates significantly lower than the harsh reality. I wouldn't want to imply that Florida is some kind of battleground akin to the 1980s when crime rates reached their zenith. However, we also cannot give credit to the image of security they try to paint for us. The locals understand the underlying truth, which motivates many of them to explore paths that take them away from this scenario. If you think it's only for safety reasons that some want to flee with their cars to new horizons, wait for the next reason that will send shivers down your spine. Hurricanes in Florida are a constant presence in the headlines. If you have lived in this region for some time, you have likely experienced some of these phenomena. Florida averages around 1 hurricane per year, and not all of them are devastating. The latter are truly exceptional, but when they do materialize, they wreak havoc and cause unease. We must remember that natural disasters exist all around the world. California faces earthquakes, whereas in New York, snowstorms are a common challenge. Every state and city has its own inherent calamity. Residents of Florida have grown accustomed to hurricanes, just as in California they are accustomed to earthquakes. Most hurricanes do not pose a significant threat. People simply secure their homes and carry on with their routine. However, on occasion, one of those rare hurricanes does manifest and causes widespread destruction, which unsettles many people, especially those who have recently moved to Florida. In fact, there are numerous retirees who spend a couple of years here and then choose to move to Arizona due to the hurricanes. Unfortunately, it's not just hurricanes that can leave residents in ruins, but also the cost of living that is managed there. In these times in Florida, the cost of living is constantly on the rise. Now, when statistics are presented to us, it might not sound as significant, but a mere percentage point can become a real dilemma when it comes to expenses. Currently, living in Florida represents a 1% increase compared to the national average. Just 6 years ago, they used to enjoy a cost of living that was 5% more affordable, which highlights a substantial change. Public services here exceed the national average by 2%, food records a 3% increase compared to other regions, healthcare remains 4% below the national average, which used to be a source of satisfaction, but transportation has experienced a 2% increase, as have goods and services. 5 years ago, goods and services were 4% cheaper than in other parts of the country, indicating that the gap is narrowing. For lifelong residents, these price increases are evident, especially if you come from places like New York or Virginia, already known for their high cost of living. It is undeniable that in comparison, Florida remains affordable, but costs continue to rise. If you are considering moving to one of Florida's major cities, this is where challenges arise. For instance, Cape Coral is 8% more expensive than the national average. Fort Lauderdale will cost you 21% more, Gainesville 3% more, Miami 22% more, Orlando 4% more, and to top it off, Sarasota is 6% more costly still. However, you can still find more affordable places like Tallahassee and Pensacola, which are 5% below the national average. So, indeed, these price increases are one of the reasons why people are considering the possibility of leaving Florida. But if you thought the list of reasons to think twice before wanting to move to this state had ended, wait until we mention the following. Similarly to the cost of living and other aspects, property values and rents are constantly on the rise in Florida. In recent decades, it has experienced a steady influx of new residents. This demographic growth has led to a rapid increase in housing prices. To get a more precise idea, the average home value in Miami is around $568,000. That's a 6.2% increase compared to the previous year. The year before had already seen a 5.8% increase, and this year appears to be following the same trend, approaching 6%. In 2020, the average home value in Miami was $370,000, so if the trend continues, by the end of 2024, the figures will double. When prices skyrocket in this manner, two things usually happen. First, many longtime homeowners in Florida see prices rise and choose to sell their properties and leave the state. Second, individuals who are renting or looking to purchase a larger home, when they see the direction prices are heading, begin to consider the possibility of leaving the state. After all the reasons mentioned, would you want to go and live there? Which of these reasons would make you think twice about the idea of trying a new life in this beautiful county? Leave your answer below in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more similar videos. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that YouTube notifies you when we upload a new video.